Hey guys, welcome to Random Fix. In this video today, guys, we're going to be discussing seat swivels here. So I got the Sportscraft seat swivel here in the driver's side, and on the passenger side we got the Prokonos. In this video today, I'm going to show you guys how to install that driver's side. If you guys want to know anything about seat swivels, I'm going to cover that with you guys, and I'm also going to give you guys a long-term review of how it is to actually have these in the vehicle, what I would and wouldn't do, and I'm going to give you guys those pro tips along the way, so stay tuned. Hello world, this is Random Fix, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you how to go ahead and easily install the driver's side seat swivel on your 2019 and newer Mercedes-Benz Sprinters. And on the passenger side here I have the seat out because I'm actually installing this Prokono seat swivel right here, which actually looks to be really great quality and was twice the price of this Sportscraft one that I'm installing on the driver's side. So I'll actually let you guys know the difference between the two in a later video down below. But today's video we're going to go ahead and focus on that driver's side. So I'm going to show you how to do this safely. You don't have to worry about your airbag light, and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do this all start to finish. So the very first thing you want to do is ensure you're not going to cause any airbag lights. So the way you do that is you come to the driver's side footwell area and you need to disconnect the batteries. Well, on the older Sprinters it was really easy. There was just a quick disconnect somewhere right here. And on the newer Sprinters it's actually hidden underneath this cover. So this cover just sits like that. Doesn't have any actual screws. You basically remove it by pulling on it, and there is this positive lug that goes back here, and there's this cable attached to it that comes off when you push this red button down low like that, and it just backs off. So go ahead and remove that positive cable there. If you have an auxiliary battery, you also want to disconnect the auxiliary battery. Right there. And the way you do that is just go ahead and disconnect the negative cable there, which is right there. It's a 10mm bolt. Go ahead, remove that and take that connection off, and now you can ensure your airbag light is not going to be turning on, and you're not going to have to pay $175 to get it reset or get some fancy scan tools. So now let me go ahead and show you how to remove that seat so we can pop in that swivel, and then later on we're going to work on the parking brake adjustments we may have to make. So what I like to do is when I'm first starting this is I'll actually come in here and just kind of loosen up the bolts to get this started. So go ahead and loosen up the two front bolts here, and then I'm going to go ahead and slide the seat all the way forward. So those are loose, and now the seat is going to be slid forward. And I'm going to get access to the two bolts back there. And now I have access to the two bolts back here. So I want to get these out completely. So those are out. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide this back. And as a pro tip, you want to go ahead and make sure that the seat is not reclining back, because the second you remove the last bolt right here, everything is just going to fall back. So we're going to go ahead and back that last bolt up. And now all you got left before you remove the seat is to make sure you remove the airbag connector, which you don't need any tools. You just basically push these 2 pins in and go ahead and back it out like that. So there's just 2 pins that you push in using your nail, and now the seat is free. So the seat is out, and the seat is super light. It is not a 2-person job. You can do it by yourself. Go ahead and drop this in there, and we have access to any of the electronics now. If you decide to do anything in here, this is the perfect time to go ahead and get some of your electrical work done, which I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to go ahead and pop that seat back in, how to make the adjustments for that piece right here, so we can go ahead and still use the parking brake by lowering it down a little bit using this adapter right here that it comes with on the Sportscraft seat. And in case you bought a seat, for example, maybe these guys don't include that on their particular seats, what you can do is go to Agile Off-Road, and they actually sell these adapters here if you don't want to fabricate your own for about $30. So that's where I found the adapter in case your seat does not come with it. However, the Sportscraft seat does come with it, which is pretty neat. And we'll go ahead and get this done. And it is very important right now, since you have the seats out and their airbags are not connected, do not push the power button under no circumstances, because this vehicle still has a 3rd battery in that seat base, which I'm going to show you guys now. So if you guys look inside here, there is another battery right there that's connected using that red wire and that brown wire on Mercedes-Benz. The brown wire is going to be the ground wire. So there is the 3rd battery in this car right there. Make sure you do not attempt to start the vehicle. So the Sportscraft seat here, it will not clear the existing parking brake, so you actually need to remove the cover. So this is the cover right here, and it is really an annoying design. However, to get it off, you want to go ahead and slide it off at the same time pushing out this pin right there. So when it's like this, reach in here, push against that clip, and back it out. And with the cover off now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to assemble the adapter kit, so you can go ahead and lower the parking brake assembly a little tiny bit, so you can actually swivel the seat over it. And before you actually put the seat back in, you may want to go ahead and adjust the parking brake right now, since it's going to be a little bit easier. So go ahead and grab yourself a 16mm socket, put that on there, and we're going to be installing this adapter. Basically, you want to go ahead and use those 2 flat bolts that it comes with the 6mm Allen key right here, and we're going to be installing this. So let's go ahead and remove this and this bolt out. Okay, so that was actually pretty painless, and one of the things I did have to do is I had to go ahead and basically use the handle and push it down to go ahead and get this to line up. I have read a lot of reviews where sometimes the holes don't match up. I didn't encounter that problem, so this so far is looking good. And I just tested the parking brake. Parking brake seems to be working good. And I'm going to go ahead and just tighten these down one more time just to make sure I got everything nice and tight. There you go. So as you can see that it's actually marking a little tiny bit down here, so I am going to trim away some of this outer lip here so it stops damaging the carpet right there. Power shears. Perfect. No more rubbing. So that was pretty cool. All the reviews I've read about having to make those adjustments and having to crawl underneath the vehicle to do that, guys, we're really lowering this just a tad little bit, and I do not think you have to readjust the parking brake assembly in the rear as the instructions state. If you like to do it, go for it. However, I do not know if it's necessary. If anybody ever wants to design something where they get rid of this parking brake, I would absolutely love it, because I've hit my foot on this thing a total of 3 times already, and it's covered in cuts and band-aids. So if anybody's watching this video and knows how to make some sort of specialized parking brake assembly for this Sprinter 2019, please do so, as we would love you. So now we're ready to go ahead and install this cover here over the parking brake assembly. But you'll notice that now we're actually touching the ground since we lowered this down a little bit. So you're going to have to make a little bit of a template. So go ahead and put it into place. And if you notice, when the parking brake is down, that this will be okay. However, as you start lifting the parking brake up, the back is going to start touching. So go ahead and grab yourself a shear, utility knife, and go ahead and make some sort of line that you want to go ahead and basically cut the bottom of this piece so you can go ahead and accommodate for the height adjustment you just made. So I'm going to use this knife now to go ahead and make that adjustment. Or these shears even work better. These are the ones that I used on the Thinsulate, and they're amazing. Alright, so I went ahead and cut the bottom as I needed, and on the inner side here, the part that's really not visible, go ahead and cut a little bit higher as it'll curve up. And now we're going to go ahead and slide this into place. Alright, so this is installed now, and again, this is a very bad design. Anybody please help me get rid of this. Alright guys, I'm so excited because today we're going to be putting the seat in. So I've done a lot of work since our last video. Did a whole bunch of wiring, got shore power hooked up, got a transfer switch, fan is gutted, got the ceiling fans in, solar, ladder, spare tire stuff, tanks ready, and now it's onto the seat. So we're going to be slapping this in, and I'm going to give you guys some tips. It's just some things I observed. So you need an E12 to go ahead and get the original screws that came from Mercedes-Benz for these. You're going to put those towards the bottom. You're going to then go and use the 8mm Allen key to put the 4 bolts that they gave you. I went ahead and already put some Loctite on here, and I got some extra stuff here, some anti-abrasion tubing here, so I can go ahead and put this around this airbag light harness. So make sure you take good care of this. I got 3 zip ties, I got electrical tape, and I got some fabric tape here if you guys don't have electrical tape. And this is going to be the rear of the seat. So we're going to go ahead and put the very first ones in. You have to turn the seat a little bit. So you're going to pull up on this, and that unlocks it. And then before you do any of this, guys, and you start putting the seat back in, make sure that you do everything that you need to do down here. So I went ahead and I ran a remote for my inverter. I ran an extra 12-volt connection here. I am not using it, but if I ever did, I don't want to pull the floor up again. So do all your wiring one time. I ran inverter line and also a separate battery charger line here, and that explains that whole mess of wires right there. So do everything you need to do. Have your trigger. So this is going to be my 12-volt trigger down here, and I'm going to use that later on with some relays and get some power to the DC to DC converter or anything else that I need back there. So nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and slap the seat in now, and let's get this done. Alright, there is the seat. Make sure you fish the wire here for the SRS system. This is going to connect to the bottom of the chair again. We're using the factory bolts that actually held the original seat in place. And the last corner bolt might be a little bit stubborn, so just take your time. Make sure nothing's really fastened, and you'll get it in. You may have to use a little tapping action on there. Since this is going to be on a seat, go ahead and check your work using your hand tool. And before I actually put the seat in, I'm going to grab my protective wire loom here, guys, and just go around this harness here and make sure we get that harness in the middle. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a zip tie towards the bottom so it doesn't just keep sliding down. And don't make this too snug. We just want to hold this in place. This is gold for your camper van projects, guys. There's plenty of slack on here, and this is not tight. And now we know that cable is not going to wear out against this metal over the years, so that's perfect. Let's grab our seat now and go ahead and slap that seat in. And to make it a little easier, so once you got your cable through here and it's nice and loose, you got a nice protective wire loom, go ahead and fasten up the 4 factory bolts that the car came with. And once you got everything centered, use a hand tool to go ahead and do the rest of the work, and then we'll work on the upper section as well. So all the bolts here are nice and snug. And now we're going to go ahead and attach the seat, which is right there. And we're going to have a swivel. So we got this in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and move the seat back. And I'll have access to these two front bolts up here. Now I'll go ahead and tighten up the last front bolt. Scoot the seat forward again. And you'll have access to the rear two bolts. Go ahead and get these nice and snug. And most importantly, go ahead and grab the wire harness here. Okay, so both seats are put back together. The cables for the airbag system are plugged in, and we're going to go ahead and attempt to start this to see if we get any airbag lights. Check it out, guys. No airbag lights. And all I did is reconnect what I showed you guys in the very beginning. As well as the auxiliary battery connection there. No SRS airbag lights. So check out the video link below if you guys have any questions or want updates about how everything is working. I do notice a lot more of a wobble with the Sportscraft seats versus the Prokonos, and if anybody ever tells you that you can just go ahead and leave the power off because the airbag light will not turn on, it's complete BS, guys. I'll show you guys this now right here. So malfunction because the power is not disconnected all the way. You need to disconnect all the way. So you're going to go ahead and unplug the power from that area I showed you guys in the very beginning of the video. And if you have an auxiliary battery, go ahead and unplug that as well. So the van is pretty much built, and I got some final trim work to do, which I might do at a later date. And I got my seat here. So this is a Sportscraft seat swivel, and this is going to be with the Prokonos. And I went ahead and covered up the leather here with some Sportscraft seat covers, which are amazing and have a great feel. So I'm going to give you guys my honest feedback about the Sportscraft swivel here, guys. And I've put on about 4,000 miles since I did the actual video here. And as I'm driving, I actually noticed on the Sportscraft seat there's going to be a little bit of a cracking noise, even though I use Loctite on the actual bolts. So that's a little annoying. So the swivel is pretty easy. You got to make sure that you always go ahead and have the seat at pretty much a 90-degree angle. Then you would pull the little lever up front here, and once you pull up on that, you can go ahead and swivel the seat. And I'm able to use it in my case like this only. So I want to show you guys this right here. So if you're planning on building a battery box, you're gonna have to make sure that the steering wheel is actually all the way in or out of the way, because it barely fits, and it's gonna hit into your battery box here, which it does in my case. So keep that in mind. So I normally go ahead and leave the seat like this when I'm actually hanging out for a few days. This makes it a little bit easier when you have it in this orientation, and it is still comfortable. So one other thing too is that cover right there for the parking brake mechanism right here, guys. This thing completely sucks. As you can see, mine is actually not in all the way, and I've ordered another one through Mercedes-Benz. It's about 20 bucks. It's a horrible system. So I hit my foot into this so many times, guys, that it's not funny. And you always got to make sure that the parking brake is down whenever you're trying to swivel the seat. On the Prokono side here, guys, this is actually the seat that you do want to put on a swivel. So if I had to do this again, I may just leave that seat alone, guys, and not deal with all this craziness. I might just want to do the passenger side seat because this is a lot more usable. And the nice thing is, this is a lot more functional. So first thing is, the locking mechanism is on the back, which is sweet. And I basically leave it in this orientation when I go, so it makes it a lot more open feeling when it's like this. Even when I'm driving, when there's nobody with me, I leave it in this orientation. So my seat will be in the regular position and this will be sideways like this. So there's my takeaway, guys. The driver's seat is completely optional. I wouldn't do it unless I really had to get access to the tray. Then I might consider it if you're running your wires. So I ran a lot of wires underneath this area right here. So that's why I had this out. I put extra wires in there in case I ever want to do anything additional without having to pull up all these panels here, because that is a big pain. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up, as it would mean the world to me. And it's completely free. And I'll keep you guys in the loop about the whole van build and some of the cool things that I did that really saved me a bunch of money. I got my bathroom in here. I got 2 beds in the back that are actually couches too. So I can still sit 11 people. And I got seat belts in here. I got a little cutting board, induction cooktop, an oven in there, a nice sink. I got a 31-gallon tank. Anyway, lots of cool stuff I'm going to share with you guys in the coming videos. Thanks again for checking out the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.